We're going to talk about Ripple. We're going to talk about Stellar. A lot of things happening. I have a document showing Ripple and the IMF have been working together for quite some time. I also have something from Black Swan Capitalist, something from Cypress to Moniker. Only less than 1% of institutions and people are actually in crypto. I think it's worth a watch of this video. And I got some other news from MFS Africa. A lot of stuff going on around the crypto space. I know you love these XRP and Ripple updates, so let's bring the fire. Let's get on with it. Let's start the show. So Black Swan Capitalist, I respect this guy. He's been in the space a long time. He's a big fan about XRP. He's had some interesting conversations with some interesting people around the space, and he has some thoughts here about the IMF and the BIS maybe taking control of the XRP escrow, right? The escrow that Ripple is the stewards of right now. He thinks that there's a deal that may be done or a deal that's already been made. And I have some context here. I'm going to, after I play his clip, I'm going to give you what I think about this situation. Let's go play this.
Bitcoin is not the answer. And the institutions know this. They're just lying to the masses. And this is how it's always been. History is repeating itself. Another wealth transfer is taking place just like 2008. And this is how it always ends up. You're going to have a few winners and you're going to have a whole world of losers.
The Bank of International Settlements might take control of a substantial portion of the escrow.
Easily. Not just the Bank of International Settlements, but the International Monetary Fund as well, and the world.
Oh,
because those are really the three top lenders in the world. Yeah, they're the ones with the control. They're very quiet about this stuff, and they're very strategic. So they're not going to put this out for people to see.
Imagine the IMF comes out and says, we are going to be using XRP, we're going to be using Ripple, federated sidechains for CBDCs. Imagine them just coming out and just flat out telling the world this. What do you think was going to happen to like the price of XRP if that actually happened? I can tell you we wouldn't be sitting at 60 cents, all right?
And the fact that we live in a world where headlines dictate our emotions, which dictate our trading actions. Most people trade with emotion, and that ties back to what James was talking about earlier. Not looking at the big picture. And they're getting the whole population to focus on something entirely different, which is, I can promise you, it's going to end up in people are going to end up in a very bad place if they follow what the mainstream news is telling them. Again, the station with Bitcoin, I love what you said earlier. You're not going to make a substantial profit on that. And let me speculate on this. Why are the shills trying so hard to pump up Bitcoin? For all we know, that massive amount of the Bitcoin, when the price, what was the highest to hit?
68, 69.
Maybe there was a significant of the Bitcoin that was owned by one entity. Speculation that is.
Hard right here.
And he shorted the whole thing down. And all these people are trying to get it back to that point just so they can break even, if you will. And I'm talking about big money. So it's not just small players. But then again, look at the technology of what Bitcoin is doing. It's extremely volatile. It's outdated. It takes 35, 40 minutes to move a little bit, small fraction of Bitcoin around.
They can also increase the supply.
Yeah, and okay, how is something a store of value when you can continue to increase the supply of it? At the same time, you talk about green, clean environment, environmental friendly, and that's how it always is. Unless people take action now, participate, figure shit out, and get on board. That's it.
Figure shit out. This whole conversation was like, you need to put your speculation hat on because it is just full of wild things, okay? Increasing the supply of Bitcoin, you would need, I think it's possible. Obviously, I think you would need that code to be written, and you would need a lot of the validators, nodes on the Bitcoin network to agree with that. I don't even know how you would go about doing that, but I don't think that'll ever happen, to be honest with you. It is interesting when they start to speculate with Ripple, IMF, BIS, and escrow. I do think there is a deal to be done, or a deal that has been done. Ripple, since the lawsuit, was buying back a lot of XRP off the open market. We as a community saw this as Ripple needing XRP for ODL purposes, and they didn't want to pull it from, obviously, the escrow. And maybe Ripple was buying this XRP in case that they would need to relinquish some supply. It's hard, right? Because when you have James Wallace from Ripple talking about Ripple's working with up to 30 central banks or more, right? He said 30 plus central banks. I don't think, what if he would have said like 50? We'd have lost our shit, right? We lost our shit over 30. But you do start to see documents, right? And I'm a hard proof type of person. I want to see it. I don't want to speculate about it. I want to see it, right? And this is an interesting document, right? You have the IMF logo on the right-hand side. We do know that Ripple has been, Christine Lagarde used to be the head of the IMF. She knows exactly who Ripple is. She's been in meetings with Brad at the front. I've shown these clips before. You had the BIS there, you had the IMF there, and you do start to wonder if something was already talked about or something's done. So here you have RippleNet and IMF here. And for the people that are saying you can use RippleNet, you don't need to use XRP, great. You are absolutely right about that. But if you want instant settlement, you have to use XRP. RippleNet is a messaging service like Swift, but without XRP, it's just a messaging service. That's a fact. You could take that to the bank. You can research it yourself, but that's a fact, okay? So trusts, right? Hold deposit with importer pays in Tala. First bank sees Samoa CB, right? These are just interesting currencies that they use here. Is Ripple working with some of these central banks? But Samoa CB pays Fiji CB in Tala, and Fiji CB account held at Samoa CB, right? Central bank CB. So this is interesting. And you do talk about a unified ledger. One starts to wonder, is this XRP? Is this a private ledger that they're all building this on? Because that would make the most sense. You want central banks to be able to transact easily with each other. And the best way to do that is have them all using the same technology. Now, not every central bank is going to adopt that. And I know there's going to be people saying, Sensei, they're talking about Quant. Great. Quant is only working with a handful of maybe central banks. I know they're working with the Bank of England, maybe a few others. But when you're talking about a large part of the ecosystem, Ripple. All right, JP Morgan promo video. They're working with Visa and Link. I don't really need to play this whole video for you. If you want to go over to ISO's page, please do check it out. It's just a commercial, but what this is showing me is that JP Morgan is getting more and more comfortable with blockchain. And as they do, other banks around them are going to as well. And that's what I wanted to just show you here. All right, we are early, less than 1% adoption. This technology, is it coupled? This technology coupled underpin the internet, future global DLT. Could be a spell check. My bad. Let's play it.
A long journey, but it does sound, and we've come a long way. But as you say, it sounds like we're still very early in that journey, despite how far we've come. Given that shift you described from technology to use case, or from technology to opportunity, what is where do you see the highest level of adoption? What are the use cases they're focusing on? Looking across different segments that you cover.
I would say that we're very early on still. We're really like 1% adoption, maybe not even that. I think we're very early stage. I think we're getting things to production, which is good, but we're not fully adopting the technology. Because the way that I see this technology is that this technology, the internet of the future, potentially, and it could also end up in, for example, interactions in smart cities or your digital passports or whatever it is. And we're a long way away from being at the level of which is actually underpinning the majority of transactions that we do. So,
all right, the gentleman says we're not even at fully like 1% yet of adoption. He thinks maybe a little bit less. And he's right. There's so many use cases that haven't even been thought of. There's so much regulation that hasn't been put into place yet. We are still very far away from a fully digital system. Okay. Now, we see the DTCC, we see all these different payment systems upgrading to ISO. That's great. It doesn't mean they're going to start using crypto right away. We hope with every fiber of our being, we hope, but we cannot depend on hope. All right, this isn't a Star Wars film where hope is eternal. We need to understand the facts, understand that just because ISO's coming around and the conspiracy side of XRP is saying this is the date, they've said that before. If the date comes and goes and nothing happens, just don't be surprised and don't get discouraged. Dates come and go. That happens, right? We are still far away from full adoption of where we need to be. Just take some deep breaths. On November 18th, take some deep breaths. All right. Standard Chartered Bank, Singapore, Mr. Guotman Zhang. You won't wait 5 minutes for a web page to load. Why would you wait 3 days for a payment to process? I love it.
We live in a days of instant gratification. You won't wait 5 seconds for a web page to load. Why would you wait 3 days for a payment to settle? Let's go real time. The world is moving real time, so should payments and other forms of settlements. We have had two use cases with Ripple. The first one was on trade finance, where we tried to solve the problem of duplicate invoice financing under the codename TradeSafe, in which we collaborated with DBS and IDA, the Singapore sovereign. The second use case is on cross-border payments. We want to make cross-border payments real-time, instantaneous, with full transparency. So these are the two use cases we are working on.
I bet you this dude was like in the bathroom one day and he just like randomly thought about that. He's, man, that's really cool. I'm going to stick with that. We will wait 5 days for a website to load. I think that was a good line. Ripple Odell, this is for Anders X, or X Anderson, my bad. Ripple Odell partner MFS Africa decides to change name to Anafi. I'm not good with different nationality names. African names, I butcher them. After a significant growth, Anafi has posted some impressive numbers recently. 500 connected mobile wallets, 40 countries, 40 African countries, 300,000 enterprise merchant. Damn! The decision to be rebrand comes after significant growth and several acquisitions, including the recent acquisition of GTP, which expanded the company's reach in the US market. Great to see it. The trademark MFS actually belongs to another company. That's actually true. I believe MFS Africa is a what's it called? It's a mobile company. One second. MFS.com. Let me see. I think, no. All right. Different company in my head. All right. The trademark MFS actually belongs to another company in the US, excuse me. An ability to use outside of Africa was becoming difficult, noted Dar. With this new name, we can bring every day together under it. The name is hard to say for me, so they were like, maybe we should Google this name to see if anyone else has it yet. Cool. All right, so here's your numbers. 500 million wallets connected, 1,300 cross-border payment corridors. That is a lot. 180 MNOs, bank connected, and then 300,000 enterprise merchant customers, 40 African nation networks. That's fantastic. Great freaking work. Awesome. All right, SEC schedules settlement meeting with Ripple. I think people love to add the as far as I'm concerned, the settlement meeting is the 9th. I think this is the inside the SEC is meeting to talk about maybe the Ripple settlement. Going for some clickbait here, maybe. But institution and settlement of injunctive actions, institution and settlement of administrative proceedings. I think so. That's what they're talking about. It doesn't say Ripple anywhere here, but okay, cool, right on. Bank of Korea to exchange and to embark on in CBDC, groundbreaking. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. Bank of Korea Exchange are initiating a comprehensive exploration of digital ledger technology and central bank digital currency within the carbon trading sector. This venture is set to unfold through a series of experimental trials planned for the second half of 2024. Both the central bank and exchanges are well into related projects. Korea Exchange is in the midst of DLT trials and is preparing to incorporate support for security tokens listed on their platform in the upcoming year. Simultaneously, the central bank is integrating these trials into its broader CBDC usability testing efforts. Earlier this month, the Bank of Korea disclosed its intentions to run a wholesale CBDC trials, positioning the CBDC as a settlement asset for tokenized deposits. This announcement also made mention of the BIS unified ledger concept, suggesting a potential for including tokenized assets such as carbon credits with this in the same technology. Now, let me ask you a question. Who's heavily invested in carbon markets and CBDCs? Now, there's a couple answers here. There's HBAR, Hadera, is working on in this area of carbon markets, but there's also Ripple's invested a lot of money into this. I don't see Hadera working with a lot of central banks. Now, if you know of a central bank that Hadera is working with, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to understand that better and look that up, but I haven't heard of any, me personally, and there could be, but I haven't heard any. So I start to wonder, carbon markets, CBDCs, who does this sound like to you? Okay, we're on the same page. XLM to $1. Cool. When? Can be life-changing for everybody. Company and now in the future will join. Stellar blockchain, digital assets. Listen to this.
Thank you so much for all that information. Thank you for acknowledging that this is, even though QSI is my creation, I founded the channel, it's really actually a platform for patrons to come and basically consult on best practices. So that effort of creating all this tutorials was made by a team of about 25 people. And how we found those 25 people are they were experts like Jim and Annie and others all over the world. And so we have input from different regions of the world, different mechanisms of what works over there, what doesn't work over there. And essentially, what was the hardest way to go through it? What is the easiest way to go through it? And let's figure out how we can combine all the easiest ways to put the information together. And we're constantly updating it. We're trying our best to keep on top of it. There are tons of changes that happen on a near-day basis. Just like what Christine and Cranker and Trina were talking about a second ago, take your time with it. Take the time to digest the information first. Feel comfortable and confident with it before you dive in. Because again, guys, this is your money. This is your family's generational money. So $1 can translate into $1 million if you understand the system well enough to take advantage of that. But like we know what Quaker was saying a second ago, the beauty of this is it's not just like your physical currencies or even your physical assets where once the RB happens, it's a one-time shot. Stellar and the other ISO compliant blockchains are very special Because right now, yes, you will.
Hold on. $1 can change into $1 million. Let's take a step back and understand what you just said there. So Stellar right now, let's just say Stellar's at 10 cents. It's a little above 10 cents, but let's just use that right round number to make this easier for everybody to understand. $1 equals 10 XLM. XLM would need to go to $100,000 for you to turn $1 into $1 million. I don't know if she did the math on that before she said that, but I just wanted to point that out before we moved on, okay?
Massive ROI if you're able to jump in before the RV, but even after the RV, you're still going to have years and years, if not decades, of multiple opportunities where you can really create generational wealth, even from that end. Because again, guys, let's tie it back to stocks, right? If you knew about stock company ABC, well, gosh, that's actually Google because it's ABC companies. But if you knew that a company was going to go from 0 to hero in the next couple of years, and you can buy that hero asset at a fraction of a penny, you're going to have the opportunity for so many years because all these companies in the whole world have to come into Stellar, and you can't do that overnight.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Interesting. This is talking more about MFS Africa rebranding. We did talk about that a little bit. Deloitte payment app based on Stellar and Ripple. Here you go. Deloitte is one of the big four. It says transparent, provide end-to-end visibility, a fund of ownership, and down here, FX pathfinding. Find the most optimal FX rate available on network and pre-selected providers, right? And we do know Deloitte has been working with Stellar and Ripple. It's right there highlighted here, right? Let me just read this for you. Deloitte has developed a proof of concept and accelerators to facilitate cross-border payments over blockchain platforms. Applicable use cases include B2B, which is business-to-business wholesale, supplier payments, and international remittances. Deloitte has with existing blockchain platforms for enhanced integration such as Stellar and Ripple. Love it. Love it. The FX market, guys, $6 to $7 trillion a day. Even if we got a little bit of piece of that, baby, I'd be very happy. All right, Brad Garlinghouse expects $10 trillion to come into XRP. All right.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. And inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets and safe, secure, and they're going to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps, even a tokenization engine, some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So we think there's a lot of pieces that come together, and we already had, and I remember when you and I first spoke, I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and bank Ripple was already working with, and they were asking us about, could we help them with their custody? This is prior to the Medico acquisition, and we weren't in a position to do that. And so I think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, hey, here's a best-in-class, going head-to-head time again and winning on the custody level, to be able to bring that product to them, I think is a great opportunity for the two companies together.
All right, Ripple XRP is about, let's just call it $30 billion. A 30x from here would be 1 trillion times 10. You're talking about a 300x from the price that we're at right now, which would be about $150 with the same circulating supply. Just some quick math in my head for you. All right, Ripple joined I2 standards body, places them in a strong position to establish blockchain as a part of international payment standards. A lot of people, misclick. A lot of people either don't know this or don't accept it. So let's just talk a little bit about it. Large global trade players such as the US and China will see the biggest cost savings from blockchain use, aided by high remittance volumes and increasingly favorable regulatory environments. It does go on to say, in these high value remittance markets, the potential for blockchain to meet our critical requirements of fast, reliable, and transparent payments will be the key driver of adoption. Additionally, Ripple has joined the ISO 20022 standards body, placing in a strong position to establish blockchain as a part of international payments standard. Do have the merchandise in the store. If you want some dope XRP gear, please check out the store. We are partnered with Cryptonairz. Big shout out to Cryptonairz. Thank you so much. And if you want to join Cryptonairz and get some knowledge in the crypto space, man, we've had so many wins in the past month of October. I can't even count. It's been like, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16 different projects that were posted that have done like a 40% to 100% returns. It's been wild. It's been real wild. So if you want to join cryptonairz.com, there's going to be a link down in the description. We'd love to have you in the community. I will see you next time. It's been an honor to spend this time with you. Bye.